Welcome to a tea party like no other. It's Triumphant Thursdays here on Tea Time with Afternoon Social. In today's episode, presenting Amanda Kirkland, a personal growth coach from Montreal, Canada. Grab your favorite teacup. Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to Tea Time with Afternoon Social. I'm Teresa Lauterbach, your host, and this is Triumphant Thursdays, and our guest today is Amanda Kirkland. She is has been in real estate development for 30 years. She's a personal growth coach, certified as a master transformational coach, and evolved NLP NQTR with training in trauma awareness, impact. And then I've also found out she's an obsessive dog lover and maybe even a secret reno expert. So Amanda has a very interesting, diverse background, and we get to hear all about her this weekend. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
I'm super. How are you, Teresa?
Doing great. I'm glad you've joined us today. And today on Triumphant Thursdays, Amanda's going to share with us about her story and how she's overcome obstacles and to become a personal growth coach, and what is a personal growth coach, and we'll let her define it and give us some of her backstory. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Amanda.
I'll try keep it short and sweet so you can ask some questions and we can have some back and forth. I'll start where I am now. I'm a personal growth coach. My clients are mostly women and a few men who struggle with dysfunctional interpersonal relationships. And that could be in the workplace with their family, friends, partners. What I did not realize is the common theme of my struggles for the past probably 30 years, if not maybe more, was that I was involved in or in situations where there was dysfunction in the relationships. They were difficult relationships. They were toxic relationships. And I didn't have any tools to navigate those sorts of dynamics. And I struggled every single day. And I fought and I tried to change people and I tried to change situations. And all it had me was, I was the difficult one, or there was something wrong with me. Anyway, I'm now coaching people and with my clients, hoping that they can avoid some of the struggles I had. So my backstory, I guess, I estranged myself from two parents and one sibling 10 years ago. There was a lot of dysfunction in that relationship. I couldn't change anything. And for my own self-preservation, I had to just walk away and take care of myself. A lot of my work situations, looking back now and understanding what I do, there wasn't a lot of strength in the leadership. So when things were going wrong, Amanda was the one pointing them out and everything was being swept under the rug. Again, I was the problem. Anyway, I loved what I did. I was good at what I did. And about 3 years ago, I was working on a project that was coming to an end. I had to either continue on the path or veer off somewhere else. And after a bit of research and some coincidences, I ended up down the road of becoming a personal growth coach. And I've done all the work myself. So anything I ask my clients to do, I've been asked to do. Working with a coach is a lot different than working with a therapist. We're goal-oriented. There's a lot of accountability. It's results-driven. And I'm going to stop for a minute.
Okay. No, that's fabulous that we all change and grow every day. And so what are some of the you talked about the toxic relationships, and that was one of your biggest obstacles. how did you start to overcome that to change your personal growth into a different direction?
The first thing was understanding myself. And, I do a lot of work with the unconscious mind, and I don't know how familiar you are with that or your listeners, but your unconscious mind is from your neck down and your conscious mind is from your neck up. So your body holds in its cellular memory. I can never say that properly. Everything that's been ever said to you, done to you, experienced you've gone through, everything you've said, you've done, and all of that creates the filter through which we see the world and we react to things. And unless you make, I've got it now, of course, I can't remember the Carl Jung quote about making the unconscious conscious. Until you make the unconscious conscious, you'll basically keep repeating the same patterns and things over and over again. So the awareness of, what, and I want to use the word sets you off versus triggers, because triggers is a bit of a coaching word. And, why we're set off by certain things, why we're bothered by certain things, why, we may need, in my case, it was like validation or support, or to be heard. And when I started to understand that some of those things were like, I'm going to say intrinsic in me at this point in time. So until I became aware of those needs, I was just going to continue reacting the way I was. Right. So the first step is sort of looking at ourselves and why we are like we are. And it's not necessarily our fault. It can be born out of our environment and our upbringing, and our life's experiences. So I think that awareness is very, very important. There's letting go of, negative emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, guilt. And those are things that we're carrying around in ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
So those are a few things, about, I'm going to say me, myself. Then there's, my mother always used to talk about, was that you never understand a person until you walked around in their shoes.
Right.
Then there's at least trying to understand why let's call him or her the toxic person, why they're actually behaving the way they are. And there's a reason for that, just as there's a reason for me reacting the way I did. So then it's looking at a situation and trying to come into it with some more compassion and understanding versus what I was doing before, just head-on challenging in certain situations. Mm-hmm. And in some situations, I wasn't necessarily challenging. I was just trying to explain.
You're wanting your feelings to be heard.
Yes.
And they weren't listening.
No.
It's like you didn't want to be fixed. You just want to be heard. And I think that...
Yeah. Heard and supported. And as I said to you when we were, chatting earlier, some people may not believe it, but I think it's a birthright that we as humans deserve to be, heard and loved and supported. There may be some listeners that don't necessarily agree. I know I had a conversation at one point with a girlfriend of mine. She's like, well, no one has the right to be happy. And you know what? When we're brought into this world, I think we do deserve to be happy.
That's why we were given laughter. If we didn't have laughter, we wouldn't. That just tells me right there that we should be happy because we were able to laugh.
And smile.
And smile, yes. And connect with others. And so that by acknowledging those things, as a coach, that's what you help others kind of do, is to acknowledge those things so they can grow and understand that yes, they can be happy, or yes, they can have their goals and their dreams fulfilled.
Yeah, and I mean, when I started down the coaching road, it's different. Like it's hard to explain when you're sort of training in it and going through the process at the same time. Like typically my client's going to come to me because they're struggling with whether it's a very difficult, let's just call it work environment. And that's what they come to me with. But that's just what we call the PP, or the presenting problem. So, the first couple of sessions, it's like, okay, so how is this a problem? How is it a problem? And you start digging back into, their history and their beliefs, and, really peeling the onion back, and you get to what the root of the actual problem is. Like, that's just how it presents itself. But it's like that picture you see on the internet all the time, but the iceberg, like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But the iceberg goes way down, and to try explain it, like I said, I don't want to be too sort of coachy. All I can tell you is that, this personal awareness and there is a lot of healing work too. And, I don't believe I've ever really been sort of angry about the family situation. Probably sad and disappointed. And, that stuff that just over time, I think, getting a better understanding of myself, and to know that I don't want to say there was nothing wrong with me, because there was, but that's because I couldn't figure out how to deal with the situation I had.
Well, we're getting a little shorter in our time here. Do you have one more piece of advice to kind of help people with triumph over their issues as well? What's kind of one of the things that you start to lead them out with for?
That you can't change other people, and that it's up to us to control how we're going to choose to respond to certain situations. And I know one of the things that, it might come off sounding the wrong way, but it's not giving your power away. And I was giving my power away by, I'm going to say, begging and pleading in some instances, and being emotional about things, because I thought, if I tell you everything from the heart, then maybe you'll listen. Well, that didn't work either. So it's just really learning to come at things from a whole new perspective, and really understanding ourselves better.
Well, thank you so much for being here on Triumphant Thursdays, and we're going to hear some more from Amanda tomorrow and on Saturday. And tomorrow we have Friends Day Fridays, and she's going to discuss what a babe extraordinaire is. So we'll have to tune in and hear some more from Amanda. And again, well, thank you for being here on Triumphant Thursdays, and we will see you tomorrow, Amanda.